founder of ADHD Empire, businesswoman, fitness coach, content creator / influencer. Any other hats I'm missing or labels?
Ex-professional dancer, I guess.
Yep.
I think that's my cap for now, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. You've got a very exciting weekly life. So much going on, and
yeah, varied.
Lots of different topics we can talk about today. But I guess we could just start, from the beginning. Who are you? I guess your background. We'll just go over what feels like the beginning of Amie in a way. Okay. Maybe not from birth, but
Yeah, that'd be a long old story. I can't actually remember that part back, but yeah. No, thank you, Cam. Going off the back of my journey in probably my 20s, I would say. So obviously you guys have introduced me, I'm Amie, and I was originally a performer. So I studied dance when I was, pretty much when I was a kid. Now I'm not studying it anymore, but I still do dance. And I did a degree in it. I studied at a university called Plymouth, which is down south in the UK. And then I decided to move to London at, how old was I, 19, 20? And I had no clue how it was going to go. I just had this dream to be in the West End and I wanted to pursue that. So I kept going up to a place called Pineapple Dance Studios, which is quite well known. And from Wales, because I'm from Wales originally, I would go up on the bus at 5 a.m. in the morning, go and do an audition for a show, if they were casting, and then I would come back. And then I met somebody at one of the classes I was at. She said, "Oh, we've got a room spare in our house. There's a group of us, we're all performers." So I went home and I told my parents that I was moving to London, and they were like, "What? I don't believe you. You shouldn't be doing that. Not you shouldn't be doing that," but they were just obviously so scared because I was so young. But I did it. I was working in a pub as well at the time, and that was in Stratford, so East London. So I was hustling. I was working at the pub. I was doing the auditions, trying to make it all work, and it was intense. And then I did get a few lucky breaks in the West End, and I was doing that, but I was just so, I would say, inexperienced and so underconfident. It's so funny with the performance industry because you get told that by 25 your career's over, but I feel you don't really come into your own skin and really truly feel confident in yourself until you are in your 30s or late 20s, early 30s. So I did struggle to kind of progress because I didn't feel confident enough to do so. And then I was hating the fact that I was working in the pub whilst I was living my dream. And that kind of light bulb moment for me was when I thought, well, I've always had a passion for fitness. I've always been, because I actually started doing CrossFit back in Wales when I was 16 years of age.
Wow.
So this is before this whole facade of CrossFit now.
Yeah, the huge trend.
Yeah, I was doing it in a little tin can in the valleys. We all just went there, just ran around, just did all CrossFit. There was nothing about aesthetics and how you look. So I just knew that I always had a passion for fitness and I was always really athletic. So I thought, well, why not see if I can get a job doing that whilst I'm doing the performing, because at least that's more aligned. But I didn't have my PT qualification at the time, and some of the girls that I was living with, some of them did front of house jobs and gyms, so I thought perfect. So I started to apply for quite a few places, and I got a job.
Just a quick announcement before we return to the podcast. If you're enjoying this episode of Midweek Motivation, you may be interested in checking out the Midweek Motivation newsletter, where every week I'll share with you a useful lesson on resilience, mindset, or fitness, or health in general, straight to your inbox. You also receive a free workout of the week, useful resources, and the latest videos that I've got up there. And just if you want to keep updated on my life, you'll find everything there. If you're interested in that, go ahead and hit the link in the description below, or go to Substack and search up Midweek Motivation. All right, let's return to the podcast.
In a studio called Surge Fitness, and it was basically have you ever heard of EMS training?
How's that?
So it stands for electrical muscular stimulation.
Oh right, okay.
And it's kind of like a TENS machine that you put on you.
Yeah, I did that. We had a day at uni, and we got to test them out. That was I think they called it a different name back home, but yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, exactly. So was really funny because people are like, oh, when did you become a PT? And I'm like, well, I actually learned how to train people with that machine before I became
No
a PT.
way. Okay.
Because I started front of house in this like boutique studio run by this very wealthy man from Bavaria called Constantine. So funny, you couldn't make it up. And there was literally like 5 or 6 of us in this like very boutique studio in Hammersmith. So I was working there, and I wasn't qualified at the time to like obviously train people, but they were struggling to like, you know, uphold the amount of clients that they had. So I started training clients and started to build those relationships with them. And then on the sly, I was training some of those clients outside of the EMS studio. So I was like, you need more than this. And it was quite a wealthy clientele. So I built a lot of connections through that fitness studio. I was training people like the Princess of Luxembourg. Like it was It was a crazy time. Like so crazy. And yeah, so on the side of all of that, I guess like the big thing is the social media. So I started off when I first moved to London, I had probably like 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
And I also had this passion to want to help women through fitness through my Instagram page, but it wasn't really a thing that people were doing at the time, because we're talking like 9 years ago.
Yep.
But I somehow found a friend of a friend was doing the same thing, and we ended up kind of connecting. And he said, oh, well, I've actually got a group of people that we're all in like this engagement group, and we all, you know, post in there when we put something up, and then everybody comments and supports it as well.
Yep.
So we were all kind of in that group, and I was using that to also build my following. And then off the back of that, I found more women in the fitness industry that were also, not even the fitness industry, more girls that were just doing the fitness thing on Instagram as well. And then I built my own engagement group as well to help those women. And because at the time, you know, Instagram was completely different.
So different.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, it's more just photos, you know, still has the aesthetic vibe to it, but just like, yeah, you're not using it as a way to grow your brand per se. It's just people who are creating, like you don't think of them as influencers in a way. They're just people who create, but it's completely separate from people who consume.
Yeah.
Whereas there's a lot more people in between now. Well, not everyone, but
no, I get it. Yeah. Now there is a more common theme with people just doing the same thing on there, whereas at the time it was very different. And you know, to grow your Instagram page, it was very much how many people could like it, how many people could comment on it.
Yeah.
And Instagram would favor that. Now it's very different. So I was like, right, I'm going to build my own page. So I did, own engagement group. So I did. And then, yeah, so I was working at the EMS studio, and then I was building this on the side. And then I went from, it grew quite quickly, I would say, because it was a lot easier to grow back then. So I went from like 1,000 followers to 9k followers quite quickly.
Wow.
And I wasn't even at 10k. And
this is like before Reels as well.
And this is before Reels.
Crazy.
And a company reached out to me who did personal training qualifications.
Yeah.
And they were like, we would love to invite you to do your qualification through us. All you need to do is just post about it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like where the personal training fitness side of things started to really grow.